2016. And better late than never. I realized that most of the severe weather looks like it's over with, but we still got thunderstorms in the area, and we're going to talk about that for a little bit and talk about what happened today. Kind of our first round of severe weather and what could be a multiple day event. Mainly tomorrow, I think it's probably our best bet for another chance of severe weather. But let's just go ahead, take a look at the radar, and see what we got going around town, and then we'll come back and talk about it maybe a little bit more synoptically, and then if anything pops up severe, we'll talk about that. I'm not sure how long today's stream will be, but I just wanted to get this out there again. Having some issues. You might notice that the map might not update right away, or I might have to go in there and force it. Just, it's still a work in progress, and I've been having issues with one of my web servers, so you know how it goes. Anyway, before we do that, looks like my stream health is good, so that's good. Let's just see. Oh, yep, and the mic sounds good. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the radar real quick. So here's a look at the radar. And over southern Wisconsin, and as you can tell, we've had showers and thunderstorms moving through the area. Let's just animate this map real quick. Some of them were severe, especially up towards the Juneau-Adams County line earlier today. We also had some over Clark County just recently that was severe, that since has dissipated, or weakened, I should say, below severe weather limits. If you're looking at the map down below, which looks like it did refresh successfully just now, all those kind of pale, what's the right color? Tan color. Those are special weather statements, and you can see those scrolling down below. Now, I don't have the full summary listed below, so you might notice it cuts off at some point and then starts on the next one. That's just because I don't want, I want as much information as possible, and this goes through the whole state. So if there's a lot of events, that would clutter up real fast. Anyway, let's get back to looking at the radar. Now that you've been looking at that for a little bit, let's stop this animation for a second. And I just want to point out, looks like a severe thunderstorm near Chicago. Warning just went out. Let's just take a quick look at that for fun, because it looks like it just got issued. Oh yeah, looks like probably wind is probably the main factor there. If I switch radar modes real quick to the velocity, you could just tell, yeah, definitely wind. Let's see if we can't get a radar estimate through some of the areas. Oh, that's really small on there. That's funny. But it looks like 50 miles per hour estimated by radar, and that's pretty close to the ground too, because the radar is not that far away. Anyway, just kind of interesting. Wanted to just take a quick look at that since it's in the area, and plus I don't get too much of a chance to do these things live, so just wanted to give it a quick check. All right, let's go back to Wisconsin. We were in southern Wisconsin, and nothing real exciting on the velocity. We had a cell over Vernon County and Richland Center area, kind of by Hillsborough, that had some broad rotation earlier today around 3 p.m., I think. Nothing came of that, but it was looking good for a little bit. It was trying to get its act together. There was definitely some good inflow and outflow, but nothing right now. There might be some other cool things. I know some outflow boundaries. We got a lake breeze, which that's outflow boundary. We'll take, or maybe radar. Yeah, signature maybe. Anyway, we'll try to see if we can't find the lake breeze in just a bit here. But we're trying to do a summary, and I keep getting distracted here. So let's go back to reflectivity real quick. All right, back to reflectivity. Anyway, more or less just strong thunderstorms. I know this cell towards in Greene County prompted a special weather statement for Greene and Dane County as that kind of chugs along. So maybe small hail associated with that cell. It looks like it's just kind of putzing at the moment. Nothing too exciting. We got some cells in the Milwaukee area, which have prompted a couple other special weather statements. Once again, I think hail is probably the main concern here, along with heavy rain, especially since some of these areas, the storms have been kind of tracking a little bit over the same area. And they're moving relatively quickly. Let's see. Turn off the radar. So 20 knots according to the estimate from radar scope here. So we'll see. That sounds about right, give or take. There's some more action towards Green Bay, especially towards Oshkosh. Let's switch radars to the Green Bay radar station. National Weather Service out of Green Bay. There was a nice looking cell earlier, just about like 30 minutes ago. And of course, radar scope has to change everything every 2 minutes, it feels like. Anyway, in Green Lake County, there was a nice looking cell, and there's still, I think that cell actually is, let's see if I can highlight this. I think this is the one I was talking about. That was really nice looking 30 minutes ago and since kind of dissipated. But there's still some nice looking cells kind of back building a little bit, kind of above Green Lake County, which is that Wood County? I can never remember. No, that's not Wood County. It's below Portage and next to Winnebago, whatever county that is. I can never remember off the top of my head. Anyway, kind of in the, let's see what cities are being affected. Fremont, maybe? Is that Freedom? Or is it Freedom? No. Yeah, Fremont. And let's see. Yeah. Nothing exciting. Maybe a little bit hail with this cell. Just kind of looking, one of my friends, Hunter Anderson, who is a storm chaser and finally got out too. We were both kind of stuck at work today. Anyway, he looks like he's near Amro, Wisconsin, and we can take a look at that in just a second. But anyway, sorry. And if you guys don't know if this is your first time, I have to do everything. So if I see something that's not looking happy, or if something's caught my attention, I kind of have to make this up as I go and take a look at it for myself, which isn't always the best thing in the world, especially when you're live streaming and you need to hold your audience's attention. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going up in the Green Bay area. Like I said, we had some nicer looking cells earlier. Since then, they're still nice. Got lightning, obviously, so it's not like these are cells that we should be paying attention to. It's just they weren't as strong. They weren't at the severe weather alert levels as they were about 30 minutes ago. All right, since then, let's go and take a look at the radar in La Crosse and check out the La Crosse region. So that's the Green Bay area, kind of focusing right now on Oshkosh, the Wisconsin Dells area, Freeport, moving into Green Bay as those storms move up to the northeast. Around 20 knots is what the radar has been estimating, which sounds about right. Anyway, let's go over to the La Crosse region now. We had earlier this afternoon, around 3 p.m., we had a nice cell that tracked through Vernon County and kind of near Hillsborough and Richland Center area. That was really nice looking cell. That's since moved, obviously, to the north and east, but we still got some nice thunderstorms in the Sparta-Toma area. Once again, nothing severe, excuse me. Some nicer looking cells now. What county is that? Is that Clark County? Yeah, I believe so. Or is that Trimble? No. Once again, I will get better at this. Yeah, that is Clark County. In Clark County, some nice looking cells. Let's see if we can't see what DBZ's reflectivity intensity we got going on in some of these cells. Up to 58 according to radar scope. So small hail, definitely a possibility. Let's see, what city is that? Curtis? Man, I can't even read on my Owen, that region. Anyway, wow, that's really hard to see. That is one thing I wish I could. All right, Fairchild, back in Trempealeau County, looks like a nice line of thunderstorms is moving through that area. Once again, nothing severe at the moment. Looks like, for the most part, just special weather statements. Strong thunderstorms yeah, throughout the area, but once again, nothing too exciting. Just taking a look for myself. So anyway, most of the thunderstorms right now over central and southern Wisconsin. Up to the north, it's just mainly light rain. So we're not going to focus in on that too much. I'm going to switch focus again towards southern Wisconsin because there's some more interesting dynamics going on over southern Wisconsin, even though we are starting to press against the lake. And earlier I said maybe we could take a look at the lake breeze, and let's see if we can't do that real quick. And of course that involves... Might not be much of a lake breeze right now. Just also kind of looking at surface observations, and actually we can go ahead and take a look at those surface observations. Let's just go ahead and do that. So anyway, this is the SPC mesoscale page where you can find all cool sorts of, and I'm being tweeted. What am I being tweeted? Okay, anyway. Wondering if people are tweeting at me. Apparently they're not. Let's zoom in. Anyway, let's right now we're looking at the surface observations. Red contour lines indicate temperature, and as you can see, we're in the mid 70s to low 80s across southern Wisconsin. I believe there is a little weak low pressure system off to our west, kind of in the Nebraska, Minnesota, South Dakota, or excuse me, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, tri-state area right in here. And then a warm front, as you can kind of see, extending maybe through southern Wisconsin now. It's a little bit hard to see. Just also kind of looking at the wind observations over Madison and southern Wisconsin out of the south, and then towards Green Bay, and I don't know what other observation site that would be up kind of towards Rhinelander. They're coming out of the east, so obviously a little bit of shift in the wind, which could indicate a warm front kind of through southern Wisconsin at the moment, and then going back towards the low. And then obviously a cold front, weak cold front, or at the very least a little bit of a dry line set up towards the west through Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma, where they're expecting more severe weather today, although not as bad as yesterday through Kansas. My goodness, was that quite the day yesterday through Kansas, and we are not expecting any of that around here today or tomorrow, thank goodness, because that was quite the show of tornadoes yesterday, which, obviously we all enjoy severe weather and tornadoes, but when they get that big and that numerous, that's just never good for anyone, and you don't want to see an outbreak. One or two in a safe distance, not affecting anyone, that's a little bit different. All right, let's see what sort of surface energy we're looking at. Looking at the CAPE values, which is kind of a measurement of how much potential energy there is. Convective available potential energy is what the CAPE actually stands for. And this is not as impressive as it was earlier today, and some of that now too is just because we have had showers and thunderstorms through the area, but still not too bad, especially for Wisconsin. Having values anything above 1500 is a good day. Obviously these aren't the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 values you'll see out west, over Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, but we don't really see that too often across Wisconsin. So any day it's above 1500, I see it as a good day. So the energy is definitely there, and there's obviously a big pool of it, to the west and to the south that it can kind of tap into as that warm front passes through, kind of vex that moisture and all that to the north. But this might also help replenish the atmosphere for tomorrow. Let's look back at the surface observations. with the dew point in green here in the blues and greens. And you can see there's just a big pool of moisture to our south that will continue to move north overnight. So the stickiness is not going away. If we can get any daytime heating tomorrow, I would suspect that showers and thunderstorms like today can be expected. And sorry for cracking my fingers just now. I realize that was a bad habit. Let's just take a quick look back on radar because we have some interesting stuff going on between Adams and Marquette County. And if you give me a second here. Here we go. You'll have to excuse me again. As I kind of readjust. Oh, and see, my one map is leaking through. Whatever. Alright. So looking kind of north of Portage right now. Kind of in the Oxford, Westfield area, Wisconsin Dells, kind of that triangle. That's a nice cell, probably producing pea-sized hail, as I kind of see that scrolling below us. Let's see, kind of look on Twitter, seeing if anyone's posting anything. Nothing on Twitter. No one reporting anything. Definitely some dark clouds, and it's kind of the first round of thunderstorms we really had this season. Although we've had a couple rounds, I guess. And there's a radar refresh that just happened, and you can see those thunderstorms still pretty active. Lots of lightning. You can kind of see the lightning strike data, the little symbols on the screen here. Anyway, so definitely cloud to ground lightning. When I was looking at the thunderstorm that rolled through Madison and got to go outside for just a little bit, there's definitely a lot of cloud to ground lightning, which is just as dangerous as anything else. So obviously take precautions if you hear lightning. As the National Weather Service always likes to say, when there's lightning, roars, go indoors, or whatever their little saying is, which isn't bad actually. It's just, whatever. You gotta take your own precautions and do what's right for you, but at the same time, you don't want to be endangering yourself or others. So that is that. Let's see. We also still got a special weather statement for that cell that's kind of in Greene County, which looks like, to be honest, has probably lost its updraft and is now just downdraft dominant. Meaning, yeah, you can kind of see a motion here that it was definitely a lot more dominant when I entered Greene County, and right now it's downdraft dominant. So nothing is fueling the storm at the moment. It's got its fuel cut off. Although, kind of an interesting thing, and you can kind of see it, there's definitely an outflow boundary from one of the thunderstorms that's moving through southern Dane County, about to reach Madison. And that's always kind of cool. I love seeing outflow boundaries on radar. It's very, very interesting stuff. And sometimes outflow boundaries can also kick off new thunderstorms, but not really expecting that today because there's not a lot of lift beyond the front of Genesis that's probably happening with the warm front that's moving through our area. But you never know. Maybe we can go back and take a look and see how our upper level atmospheric dynamics are faring today. Really actually haven't looked at that today. So it'll be kind of a guess for both of us. Oh, here's a good example of some thunderstorms maybe riding that outflow boundary here in kind of the northern suburbs of Milwaukee. Now that this is in motion, I should say, you can kind of see it's back building a little bit along the outflow boundary, kind of north of Sullivan, Watertown, and now going into the Hartford area. That's kind of cool. Anyway, let's see. Like I said, this is a problem with doing this as a one-man operation. Is you kind of have to take a look for yourself and observe anything that's interesting. Let's stop putting this radar in motion for just a second. Thunderstorms north of Wisconsin Dells, kind of south of Oxford, still going strong. Still has that special weather statement. So probably small hail is definitely a very good possibility. Lots of lightning associated with this thunderstorm, which is got me thinking that when there's lightning, that's always a good indication of growth, especially in the thunderstorm. So always something to take a part of when you are looking at that. Okay, if you guys just give me 1 second here and let's just zoom out. I want to track down a storm real quick. Images. Okay. So let's go back to the Green Bay area real quick and take a quick look at that radar. So just I'm seeing like I said, my friend Hunter Anderson is out right now, chasing the storm system that's kind of near Amarillo, Wisconsin. Nothing too exciting. Looks like a lot of outflow dominant storms right now, meaning not much in the way of growth and development, just kind of chugging along. And if we put this in motion, you can kind of see that is the case. A little bit of growth, a little bit of back building. Nothing too exciting. Kind of what you expect here in Wisconsin. Let's see what else we got going on here. Farther to the north, obviously, I was talking about how that's mainly rain, especially since a lot of the forcing is to the south. Talking just kind of big picture scale, not a lot to drive thunderstorm development to the north, but you still have the energy, so that's why the rain. Rain can be heavy at times, and obviously embedded thunderstorms still a possibility with lightning, and lightning is just as dangerous as anything else. So if you hear lightning, take the proper precautions as always. Let's just go ahead at this point in time. Here's an interesting thing, just kind of looking at some of the current conditions and surface observations. Let's go ahead and take a look at helicity, which is a indication of do you have rotation, or when there's an updraft, so when a column of air is rising because warm air rises and in a column, are there things forcing upon it that can spin that column or rotate that column is probably a better way to put it. And one of the things we look at is helicity, which is the measurement of that rotation. And the more helicity you have, usually the better environment for tornadoes. And we are kind of around that time. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock is the magic hour here in Wisconsin for tornadoes. And today is definitely not a day where the tornado probability is 0. It's definitely a non-zero day, but it's also not anything above a 2%. And I'm not even talking about SPC or anything like that. It's definitely just the probability of any tornado in a given area is definitely less than 2%. But it's still something to take a look at and worth checking out. And helicity values, especially here in Wisconsin, anything above 300 is very, there is a probability of, that you could see tornadoes, especially if you get an environment where the storms are what we call discrete and cellular versus a line of thunderstorms or embedded thunderstorms. You want an environment where thunderstorms are not so much clustered together and can just feel or get that feel right into the storm without any issues or having to worry about being cut off by another thunderstorm that's nearby it, which is a common issue we have here in Wisconsin. We just don't have the nicest environments as somewhere out in Kansas, and a lot of times our thunderstorms they go very linear, as in meaning like a big linear line, and they just they'll roll away whatever, or they'll just roll away with whatever was forcing them synaptically. So that's why we don't typically see the big tornado outbreaks like they do down in Kansas and Oklahoma. One of the many reasons why. But once again, I'm not surprised helicity values up towards northern Wisconsin are like that, but because the warm front is probably over southern Wisconsin at the moment, and a lot of times that when you have that, two boundaries of air, so the warm front is a boundary of air between two parcels, you can sometimes see, rotation in that area. So, not surprised that that's why we're seeing 300. I forget what the units are on helicity. Meter squared per second squared. That's kind of meaningless in our context here. But especially farther to the south, over southern Wisconsin, kind of over Dane and the Wisconsin Dells area, that's something to look at, especially if there are thunderstorms developing over southern Wisconsin. And we can take a quick look at that. Go back to our radar. Nothing too exciting. Looks like we got a little cell trying to pop up here in Wisconsin, or right next to my house. So let's go ahead and see if there's anything with the outdoor cam. Nothing too exciting here at my house. Taking a peek out the window. No, just clouds. Nothing too exciting. But hey, yeah. Anyway, you guys, I really wanted to take this opportunity to do another test, kind of do things live. This is always a ever-evolving stream that I'm trying to do, and obviously it would be a lot more exciting if we had, let's go back to the camera real quick, if we had severe weather to talk about, but mainly this is just, strong thunderstorms, definitely. Thunderstorms right now that are worth noting are still in Rock County, supposedly. I don't see anything as exciting. Let's go back and just take a general overview real quick. We still have a special weather statement for thunderstorms in Rock County, although they seem to be puttering out a little bit. Northern suburbs of Milwaukee County, is kind of Hartford and Cedarburg area, that's still worth taking a look at, or at least knowing that those thunderstorms are in the area. But those are probably weakening too as they approach the lake. There's definitely a strong thunderstorm over, let's see, where are we? North of, in like the Adams County area, Green Lake Marquette area. Just entering Oxford right now, which definitely is probably producing some hail, but kind of by the looks of it. Probably pea-sized hail, but nothing more exciting than that. But it's definitely worth taking shelter. Nothing severe at the moment with those thunderstorms. Looks like we still have some thunderstorms in Clark County and in Monroe County. Let's take a quick look at that using the La Crosse radar site. So yeah, Clark County, line of thunderstorms moving through the area. It looks like, yeah, maybe some small hail too. Nothing too exciting. We were kind of seeing those same thunderstorms earlier. And let's just take another observation through the Green Bay area. Storms now kind of moving into Hortonville, Monticello, Princeton. You're probably under the gun for some thunderstorms. Watoma, I believe, is also in that area. Wild Rose have thunderstorms moving into your area. Green Bay eventually, although we'll see how much those thunderstorms weaken as they move away from the warm front, because they're probably outpacing the warm front right now. Anyway, and just take another close look here in southern Wisconsin. Not seeing too much. So, if I have any viewers at the moment, which let me go check. Oh, I have a couple viewers. Thanks you guys for hanging in with me. Here's the deal. I kind of got what I wanted to do today out of the way, which obviously wasn't anything too exciting. Let's get back to the camera. More practice I have with this, the better. Especially since some of this stuff, like I'm having a problem with one of my servers right now that kind of spits out the map. And luckily it's been updating okay, although I think it's stuck right now. So I gotta get that all taken care of. But anyway, more practice I have, the better. Especially once we get tomorrow, for goodness sakes, if we have any severe weather, I want to be streaming and want to be on point with what I want to say. So, more practice the better. And this is something that I hope is useful to someone out there, especially when severe weather is striking, and it's more useful information when things are a little more exciting. But hopefully today was also exciting too. So anyway, if any severe weather strike or does strike within the next couple of hours, I will be more than happy to stream again. But until then, hopefully maybe some interesting weather tomorrow, but nothing obviously that would create problems with damaged property or anything like that. But stronger thunderstorms probably tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.